that God strategically positions in our lives. The word divine means they are strategically positioned by God in our lives to, one, advance his purposes for our lives, to fulfill his promises, and ensure that what he has started in us comes to completion. Is it always comfortable? No, it's not. But it is surely by divine orchestration. As such, I believe that there are three types of divine connectors that God uses in our lives, and I'm just going to briefly go through those. So number one is those that God assigns to you, those that are assigned to you by God. These are people that you don't choose, you don't plan for them. Sometimes you don't even expect them. Yet God strategically positions them in your life for the fulfillment of your destiny. So they appear at key moments, often without explanation, but with undeniable purpose. And if you're not attuned to what God is doing, if you're not attuned to what the Spirit is doing, even as Doc led us over the past few weeks, focusing on discernment, if you're not discerning enough, you might actually miss them. In my own walk of faith, I can say that I can clearly identify several of these divine connectors. So first and foremost, there's a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, who 20 years ago invited me to Celebration Church. And I went to First Celebration Church, Celebration Church, Borodale. And in 2006, that's when CC Westgate was formed, and then I moved over to CC Westgate. This was a simple invitation that changed the trajectory of my spiritual life, but I didn't realize it then. Then while I was there, so I'd come to church, come in, sit, praise and worship, go home, come in, and there's a deaconess, Deaconess KD, God rest her soul. She would stand at the doors, and she was in the welcoming team, and she'd say to me, "I like your smile. You need to come to the welcome team. I'll just brush you off." And she persistently continued to say that until one day I was like, okay, because of her persistence. Because of her persistence, I said, okay, let me try it out. And that's how I joined the welcome team. And my life has never been the same again. I then went on to serve in so many departments, so many other departments. I found joy in serving. I found fulfillment in serving. And as Pastor Bonnie says, your involvement really is the key to your call. And I'm a testament of that fact. And from there, God just began to position me under various pastors who just consistently placed me in roles where I felt, and I still feel stretched. I remember Pastor Jeff, when Pastor Jeff called me, just still in the early days as well of Celebration Church Westgate, and he said to me, "Yeah, I want you to be the deaconess for cross culture." I was in my early 20s. And I thought, but I'm the least of the least of the least, and my tribe is the least of the least. How can, how can I take up this position? And he spoke to me and he said, no, don't worry, it's just an administrative role. It's nothing, it's nothing much. And I really felt out of my depth, but it was God positioning me. Then Pastor Chris and, lots of different assignments that I really felt were beyond me, but I took on nonetheless. And then I recall when Dr. Madambi informed me that, I was moving from cross-culture to heading the praise and worship team. And I remember I laughed, just like Sarah, I laughed out loud. And I said, "Doc, I love worship, but unfortunately the relationship is not reciprocal. I cannot lead praise and worship." And he said, "No, you don't have to lead. You don't have to sing. But, you head the team." In obedience, I stepped into it anyway, And I found over the years, now Pastor Batsi, with prayer, leading prayer and involvement in the MTF, sometimes he'll call you 2 hours before and give you 2 hours to prepare and say, "Yeah, I can't lead tonight. Can you lead?" And then there's Dr. Makoni, Pastor Audrey. I'm here. But not only that, I remember, Doc, when I went to Namibia, and then I remember the service that I was released. And I don't remember who was there from the center. And they just declared, and they said, "Celebration Church Namibia is starting." And I looked at them and I laughed. Every time I've been assigned, I laugh. And I laughed and I said, "No, that's not going to. But lo and behold, so with each assignment, each unexpected appointment, and each stretching moment, I have come to realize